Hey, Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome to Football Eagles Now. Happy Tuesday. Let me just say this. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. We have reached 30,000 subscribers here on the channel. Been trying for the past couple of weeks, and it slowly goes up. That's how YouTube works, but 30K is insane. The fact that 30,000 people want to subscribe to this YouTube channel to watch me talk about the Eagles is incredible. It will never be lost on me, and so I want to thank you guys for subscribing. Let's keep going. Let's just keep climbing up there. I want to make this the most subscribed to Eagles channel on the entire YouTube platform, and we're basically there. Already the best content in my opinion, but keep subscribing. From the bottom of my heart, thank you guys very much. Alright, so as the title of today's video suggests, I want to get into some pre-training camp trade ideas. It's the off-season, and obviously, there's not a ton of news and stuff going on. And so as you look around the National Football League, there are obviously players that are either wanting to be traded or potentially rumored to be traded, and I went through the whole list and I found 5 players that make sense for Philadelphia. There's no guarantee the Eagles trade for any of these players, and we've talked about some of them before here on the channel, so we're bringing up some old trade ideas as well, but there are 5 ones, especially some new ones in here, that would make sense if Howie Roseman wanted to add to the roster either now, during training camp if there's an injury, or pre-training camp as well, during that kind of final little trade period before teams finalize their rosters. So let's just jump into the most obvious one. I've mentioned this guy a billion times. You ask about him on mailbag videos. We must mention Jessie Bates when talking about trade ideas. There's no way you can't. He's the obviously clear-cut #1 option that most Eagle fans want out there. The safety from the Bengals, who was incredible during their Super Bowl run this past year. And he fills the final need. We've talked this entire offseason about how Philadelphia, filled the pass rusher need, and they filled the linebacker need. They filled the cornerback need. They added to the offensive line. They added to the wide receivers. They, solidified Jalen Hurts as the starter. They did everything. The one thing they didn't do was add to the safety position. And even though you have this guy, in Marcus Epps or Kayvon Wallace says, right now, the battle for the, sure bona fide starter at #1, Bates makes the Eagles instantly better. And I think Bates takes this secondary from elite to super elite. It's already going to be really good. The corners have solidified themselves as 2 great cornerbacks, Bradbury and Slay. They're going to be great on the outside, right? And corner is way more important than safety in the National Football League. You guys know that. I've said it for, months here on the channel. I think it's true. But take 2 good cornerbacks and add a Pro Bowl caliber safety behind them, and you are creating a dangerous, dangerous secondary that's not just going to be elite, top 10 in the league. It's one that you are going to be terrified to play against as an opposing team. And so I think this is the real one player on this list that makes the most sense. And if I had to bet on Howie making a move, it would be for Bates. It's what we started here at #1. But at the same time, they haven't done it yet, and, each day you get closer to the start of the season is a much more likelihood that Bates stays, signs his franchise tag, and plays under his franchise tag, I should say, with the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay, add right pin comment down below. Just at the top of your head, name a player you would trade for right now. Is there a player, maybe you gotta wait to see the rest of my list, but name a player you would trade for right now. Let me know down below right now. All right, next player on our list here, one I've not mentioned, but I think makes some sense, KJ Hamler. There you go, KJ Hamler, right? Penn State. He was an Eagle option during the Rager draft. There was rumored, Philadelphia at least met with him multiple times, and he landed in Denver. And now in Denver, he's had some personal problems, or not problems, but personal tragedies. I think he had the death of his mother, as well as a torn ACL this past year, and so he's never really gotten off the ground, but he's healing, he's supposed to be healthy, and Denver has a ton of wide receiver weapons. They are loaded at wide receiver. They got Jerry Jeudy, and they have, who's the really tall guy out of SMU? I'm blanking on him right now. He's great as well. A lot of receivers out there. And then the guy, is it Daniels? I'm not, up to date on the Denver wide receiver roster in terms of their names, but they have a lot of great players for Russell Wilson. And Hamler kind of is the odd man out. He's kind of the one that, with the injury and the off-the-field stuff, could really be traded in the coming weeks and as you get closer to training camp. And even though, again, he only played in 3 games last year, I think he's proven to be a great slot option and a really good spreader, or I say field elongator, if that's the right word there, in spreading the football field out and making it a lot longer and creating really open lanes for the outside receivers and Smith and A.J. Brown. Now, do you need Hamler? Is there a pressing need at wide receiver? The answer is no, right? Because you obviously have, Zach Pascal, who you went ahead and brought in. You still have Jalen Rager. They still are going to be fine at the #3 wide receiver spot. But if they really wanted to create some real competition, or if Quez Watkins doesn't look good during training camp, or if Pascal doesn't look good during training camp, or Rager obviously doesn't look good during training camp, which is likely, then you could maybe make the case to trade for Hamler. Wouldn't cost a lot in terms of a draft pick, wouldn't be very expensive in terms of a contract, and if he's healthy, he would make this receiving core even better and scarier than it already is. Who's the worst wide receiver on the Eagles roster right now? I think a lot of people will say Rager, but I don't know if Rager I mean, I hope he's not the worst receiver in this roster, but maybe he is. I don't know. Let me know down below on who is the worst wide receiver on the Eagles roster right now. Okay, next player on our list is someone, I think I've mentioned him before, Deion Jones. Deion Jones is not going to be a Falcon this year. I mean, that is very, very clear. He's had offseason shoulder surgery, and he's a very easily post-June 1st trade person. I've talked about him in the past here, but he doesn't make a lot of sense for Philadelphia if they're in love with their linebackers right now. Now, I am. Like for me, not on the football field every day at practice, not in meeting rooms with these guys. I love Edwards and White and Dean and all these guys. But let's say they aren't confident in TJ Edwards. And let's say that Nakobe Dean isn't ready to start week 1. Right? Then you would make a move for a guy like Deion Jones, who by no means is the Deion Jones of the past during the Super Bowl run, speedy Deion Jones with the Atlanta Falcons, but still is a veteran linebacker. And so I don't think you need him right now. I wouldn't trade for him. But what if, right? Just what if the Eagles aren't confident that Dean's going to be ready or confident that TJ Edwards is going to be a good starter? Then you can make a trade for Deion Jones, pay him next to nothing on a restructured contract, pay for him in a 6th-round draft pick, and at least have a solidified veteran at the middle linebacker spot to bring these younger linebackers along. Again, I like Edwards. He started at OTAs at linebacker the past couple of days. I think they're going to be fine with him or Dean. But if they don't look good, and maybe they don't have it more towards training camp, then you can make a trade for a guy like Dean or Jones, as he's one of the few tradable linebackers in the market right now. Okay, we'll get to, I think, the biggest splash the Eagles could possibly make in the trade market right now for a pass rusher. That would be like an all-in move in just 1 second. First, shout out to our friends at BetUS. Right now, the NBA Finals are going on, as well as plenty of other sports, baseball, Philadelphia Phillies, and you can bet on all of these and more with our friends at BetUS. For new subscribers, though, or new bettors, I should say, to the BetUS platform, you're going to get a crazy deal right now if you use our link, chatsports.com/bet, and our promo code EAGLES125. Put your $100 deposit down, use our promo code, you get a 125% deposit bonus, which turns your $100 deposit into $225. You can bet on, obviously, stuff going on right now. You can also bet on future stuff. You can bet on over-under for the Eagles. You can bet on the Eagles Week 1 odds right now against the Detroit Lions. We can bet on MVP stuff. You can bet on Super Bowl stuff. Like, all that betting is open and available. Do with our friends at BetUS. Use the link on your screen right now. Okay, Robert Quinn. Okay, I don't think I mentioned Robert Quinn as a trade candidate at all, but he is one for the Bears, a very expensive one as well. He's an absolute monster, and I think that for the right price, you could have him if you were Howie Roseman and the Eagles. But for me, like, Quinn would be an all-in move. If the Eagles look at their roster right now and they see the 2016-2017 roster and they go, this is a Super Bowl caliber roster, let's go all in. Let's go all in on 2022. We can win it right now, which I don't know if they think that. I mean, I think the roster is great, but it depends on Jalen Hurts. We all know that as well. But if they truly believe this is a roster ready to rock, you trade for Quinn right now. Robert Quinn would make this defensive line, which is already a top 5 in the league, clearly the best. I mean, easily the best. And maybe Brandon Graham is, not going to be himself anymore after the injury and the age. Quinn would instantly walk in there, be a starter. 18.5 sacks last year. That is insane. If the Eagles had 18.5 sacks from one player this coming year, I mean, you are dominating the NFC East and dominating opposing quarterbacks, especially in the playoffs like Brady and Aaron Rodgers. This D-line depth chart, again, is fine. You don't need Robert Quinn. But we're talking about trade candidates, trying to come up with some lists of names and ideas. Quinn is definitely one that you could throw out there who has been rumored to be potentially shopped, rumored about wanting out of Chicago, and if you wanted to go all in, would make a ton of sense for the Philadelphia Eagles. Who leads the Eagles in sacks in 2022 as it currently stands on this depth chart? Is it Cox? Is it Brandon Graham? Is it Josh Sweat? Is it Hassan Reddick? Is it somebody else? Who leads the Eagles in sacks in 2022? Let me know down below right now. Okay, final player on our list is kind of a fun one to mix in here. I mentioned him as a post-June 1st trade option in a video last week. We'll say it again, Saquon Barkley, the running back from the Giants. I don't see Philadelphia having a pressing need at running back, but if the Giants are done with Barkley and you truly believe he's healthy, big if, but if he is, then he could be a really good 1-2 punch to the likes of Miles Sanders and obviously Kenny Gainwell as well. Again, they don't need a running back, and Barkley is by no means the number 4 overall draft pick, at least the talent-wise, that we expected him to be following a multitude of lower body injuries, but I think he'd be cheap, and cheap is kind of the focus here on some of these trades where you want a 6th-round draft pick for him, restructure your deal, like, I'm fine with it. So, they don't need him, and I think he's the least likely of anyone on this list, but if you wanted to have kind of a fun Penn State backfield of what it used to be with Barkley 1 and Gainwell, and Sanders 2, flipping it with Philadelphia, either way, I would definitely be interested in Saquon Barkley on the list. Okay, name a player from my list that you would be interested in trading for if they wanted to make a move. You got Bates, Hamler, Jones, Quinn, Barkley, like any of the players. Name one down below right now. All right, we'll go ahead and end this trade video here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. Mailbag call, as always, hashtag Eagles. Try to get as many mailbag questions as I can. Yesterday's video called for it. We'll call for it again today. If you guys want to be a part of a weekend mailbag, either Friday or Saturday, go down below. Subscribe first, thanks for all the 30K subs, but use the hashtag Eagles and ask away in the comment section. Okay, ultimate day on our Eagles trade rumor video. I'm Thomas Mott for producer Trace, signing off for the rest of your day.